first want to give like a status update on the debugger project. So I'm making a new version of the debugger. You're looking at it.
Whoa.
So this is actually the debugger debugging itself right now. I figured out how to use Python modules correctly. This is a relatively recent thing. There's this -m flag in Python to tell you, I'm going to execute this module. Because normally you say you execute something .py, but if you execute a module, it uses this module resolution to figure out which file is the entry point. So my new version of the debugger is termdb, terminal debugger, GUI 2, in place of GUI 1. I have to give to it a history file. I'll do this one. Okay, so this is the debug. I have a windowing system.
Okay.
Yeah, I made a windowing system, and you can resize these windows and drag them and move them around. I probably will eventually end up choosing either a split panel kind of deal or like a automatically tiling window system where it always keeps them side by side. But I still have a soft spot for windowing systems. Anyway, so on the left is it's the step debugger, and then on the right is the variable panel. And the reason we're looking at some internal Python internal code here, we're actually in the module loader. And if I go into the exec function, now I get into my code. I'm planning to do some stuff so you don't have to go through that and you just jump here immediately. But for now, you have to jump through some of the code in the module loader to get here. So everything is more or less what used to happen with the debugger. You step through the code with the same keys. I have a file menu.
Oh, nice.
You can say step over here as well. So you can drill down like this with the left arrow, down arrow to step over, etc. Yeah, this is the sort of main body of the event loop, basically. When you talk about the event loop in JavaScript, it's this thing that exists, but you never see it. In this UI system, the event loop is just this while loop over here. So this is, and probably in JavaScript there is something like this. I don't know, but you just don't get to touch it or see it. But over here, the variables, I finally made this tree system work. So you can expand. You can expand. And last night, I just added code to keep these trees expanded state as they are as you navigate through step by step. Because each time you step, actually regenerate the whole variable tree. And in order to keep the elements expanded, I had to do some tricks to get that to happen.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, so this is working okay. And I can run this debugger in PyRewind, the version of Python that has the debugger. And so this is a bit slower when I run through PyRewind than the normal Python. So I'm seeing the effect of the overhead that I have introduced. But it's still workable. Just do a couple of things. I expand this panel. You can see some stuff. Oh, okay. Now the panel exists. I can expand some stuff. Okay. And I quit out of it, and then at the end of running this command, you get a .rewind file, right? This log. And then what you do is recreate. When I'm done with it, I will make this more convenient. But for now, you manually recreate the SQLite database based on that rewind log file.
Okay. Yeah, by the way, I really like how the UI is looking right now.
Oh, thank you. Oh, yeah.
The tree looks really good. The tree looks really good.
Oh,
it's
thank you.
like, yeah, really nice. And I like you have like dot, 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 and also like the dot and the triangle. I think that's really nice.
Oh, thanks. Yeah. So now, because I've generated the recreate function has created a term db.gui2.sqlite. So that exists now, and I'm gonna use the debugger to debug itself.
Okay.
It's another thing that I probably want to invest some time in. How can I optimize the speed of PyRewind so that when people are using it, it won't be slow. Okay, so here, so this is the debugger GUI, and I can like step through the code of the debugger, just like any Python program. And I can actually look at the code that's handling the expanding and collapsing of the trees, for example, because that's in the stack pane. And inside the stack pane, I actually have this on expand and on collapse functions that get called. So if I click here, that means I skip to the state when some tree has gotten expanded. Oh, I haven't implemented the UI printing in the background yet in the new version, but that should be very easy to do. And then I have another window that has what the debugger looked like at this point in time in the code. It is kind of confusing, like having the debugger debug itself. Like, what are you looking at? Are you looking at this or the previous version of the debugger? I have this key which represents a path into the tree, and separated by this slash operator. So this is the locals node, and then panel equals vbox something. So this is a key that I generated just by using the display values of each node along the path descending down. And I added to this set called expanded path. And then later on, I restore the expanded path and so forth. Yeah, that's where I am. Next steps would be probably want to make a view menu here that where if I like these windows, I can maximize them, go back to normal. I can also close them. So maybe I have a view menu that can let you bring them back when you close them. Because for now, if you close them, you're done. There's nothing more to do. One reason I chose a Windows system is I want to implement more Windows. The timeline is a big one, right? I want to have a timeline, and when I implement search, I want a separate window for the search results, for example. And then if you click on a result in the search results list, it's usually going to jump you to some point in time, and then that's going to change the state of the other windows, right? So that's the plan.